My son has a new transgender girlfriend. I'll never forget how my husband reacted. I have 3 sons, 32, 28, and 26. All of them are very successful young men and are on their own. My oldest and youngest were always very outgoing and were party animals in high school and college. My middle son focused on his grades and future from a young age. He moved out the youngest into his own home. Anyway, my middle son had a bad ex-girlfriend. They dated since they were 17 and she cheated on him several times. My son never left because he loved her, but eventually he realized she was a bad woman and left her. But it took 8 years. Anyway, my oldest got married at 29 and my youngest is engaged. They give my middle son a lot of fuss because he's single, but I always say that his ex messed up his sense of love and confidence. They don't understand what he went through and my husband agrees. 6 months ago, he started dating this new girl that we just met yesterday. I was happy to hear that he found someone. She is very educated and smart, according to him. They have similar personalities and interests. Considering my middle is kind of a nerd, that made me very happy to hear. Anyway, I wanted to meet her immediately. My son said that she was shy and it would take her time. 6 months later, she told him that she is ready to meet us. So Friday afternoon, my husband decided to grill. Everyone comes over. Then my son and his new girlfriend show up. This beautiful girl walks in holding his hand and standing behind him. He was right, she was very shy. We all introduced ourselves and her name was Sadie. Sadie was quiet but said hi to everyone. She honestly associated the most with our dog that night. My sons go out and help their dad cook. My daughter-in-law goes out with my grandbaby, and soon-to-be daughter-in-law and she are best friends so they go out together. I ask if Sadie would like to help me finish the sides and chop some stuff. She says sure. I just asked how they met and we had a typical conversation. Eventually, my middle son comes in and comes up behind her and pokes her booty. She gives him a really look and he grabs her and picks her up as they laugh. I say, put her down, don't be so rough on her. My son just says okay, puts her down and goes back out. I said, sorry, 3 boys. Sometimes they are a little too rough, but he is harmless. She said, I know he is. I used to wrestle with my dad and brother growing up too. I said, your mom let her daughter wrestle her older brother and dad? She said, well, I used to be a boy so I guess it was different. I froze. I said, what? Her face went snow white and immediate tears rolled down her face. She said, he didn't tell you? I went no, she said, I think I should leave, I'm sorry. I grabbed her and said no, stay here. Does my son know? She said he knew. She then said, I always bring it up on the first date so if there are issues, we don't waste each other's time. To be honest, I was surprised, but my son had never been so happy, so I dropped it. I honestly just couldn't believe it. You would never know. She is gorgeous. She asked if I thought of her differently. I said, you make my son happy and as long as you treat him right I don't care. She just said thank you. I called my son today because his dad wants to get to know her more and wants to go to dinner with just them and us. He said sure. I brought up our conversation and he said he knows. He said that she is just really shy about it and doesn't talk about it at all. She just tries to run under the radar. He said that since I knew we needed to tell dad, but they discussed me pre-telling my husband. I told my husband at noon when we were going to pick up my son, Sam. The conversation was fairly quick. I just told him I needed to tell him something and he had to promise me not to be upset. He just said speak. I said, Sadie is trans. He just went, okay. He said we would talk later. I said something about dinner and he just said we will talk later. I told Sam and told him I had his back. On the drive to Sam's place I told my husband that Sam loves her and makes him happy. I explained it took a lot of courage from Sadie to be open with us right from the beginning. My husband just said we will talk later and promised he'd be on his best behavior. We went to pick up Sam and Sadie. It was a nice restaurant so my husband and Sam were in polos and dress pants. Sadie and I were in dresses. They looked so cute together when I saw them. They were matching and everything. We go to dinner and my husband is acting normal. Just asking questions to Sam and Sadie about intentions, how they met, and so on. After dinner, Sadie tried to bring it up with my husband. He just said hold that thought, let's go get ice cream. So we go as he is just telling jokes to everyone in the car and acting a fool. We get there and ask what everyone wants. My husband's favorite is chocolate. Mine is cookies and cream, Sam's strawberry, and Sadie's is butter pecan. I promise this matters. We get our ice cream and after a few minutes my husband says, it's weird how there are so many different types of ice cream. When I was a kid there were like 2 or 3. Now they have hundreds, it seems like. I was confused where my husband was going with this. He then said, as long as the ice cream that you like tastes good to you and makes you happy, I don't mind forking out a few dollars for a smile. He then winked at Sam and Sadie. That was it. That was the discussion. We took them home and he gave Sam and Sadie each a hug and told Sadie he hopes she can make it to more dinners on the weekends. All I have to say is I held my husband's arm the whole way home. I am guilty. I did give him a big present for it.